Thompson did, and he went back out and he hit some free throws, and Joe didn't do that. Joe lives in Ann Arbor, so maybe he could come out. But basically, we stood outside of a bar, St. Patrick's Day. I don't believe we could smoke in the bar, so we went outside to smoke, and we just started high-fiving everybody in downtown Alexandria as they walked by, very much like Royal Oak, but this was on St. Patrick's Day, so it was very busy. Just little open intox and high fives. Everybody loves a high five.
I know that when Adam came to hang out with me at one of my events, we gave out quite a few high fives. Did we not, Adam?
I think we did, yeah.
In the pinball arcade bar, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I think you got a lot of high fives because you kicked my ass in Shuffleboard and Mortal Kombat. I left there drunk and defeated, but the night ended well, I guess.
Hey, I got a thumbs up, so I know the night ended all right.
A lot of people forget though that Danger is 6'4", so when he gives you a 5, it's automatically a high five. There are no low fives. I'm 6'1", but I can still do low fives. My friend Joe is like 5'4". He's small by all accounts for a man.
So he needs low fives, is what you're saying.
He jumps to give a high five. He's an athletic guy until he blew out his ACL. So I mean, look, he should have tapped out. That's what I'm saying.
I love it. Hey, let's switch subjects real quick. I got a topic I want to ask about. How are you guys feeling about Mr. Todd Gurley? I have been seeing him in mock drafts almost fall out of that first round. Where are you at on that? Adam, what do you think of Todd Gurley?
I am extremely concerned about the injury history, the way they used him in the last half of last year. I don't think he's going to get the usage to warrant a top even 2-round pick. I'm going to pretty much full avoid him unless he drops into like the 5th or 6th round, to be honest with you.
I think I'm with you. Hey, Chris, you've been doing a lot of best ball leagues, right?
I'm actually trying to pull up my most recent one, which was like 2 weeks ago.
Because I did about 4 mock drafts earlier today, which is why I wanted to bring that up. Because I was just sitting at home, not a paid one, not on Draft or anything. I was just popping in on Yahoo's and ESPN's free mock drafts, and I didn't see him drop out of that. The lowest I saw him go was 11th or 12th. I didn't see him quite go out of 13 or lower, but. Adam, you were about to say something. I cut you off. I apologize.
I don't remember what it was, but I just I just think he's going to have to drop much later than that. With running backs, I look for usage, and I just don't see him getting the usage you're going to want, even in potentially an explosive offense. I don't know. I feel like the moves they've made and what they're looking to do, the way that last year played out, even in the playoffs when they needed him most, he still wasn't getting many touches. I don't know. I'd be very uncomfortable picking him in the top 20 picks.
Well, so the best ball draft that I did for the best ball championship, which was probably about 2 weeks ago, he ended up going number 12 at the turn. I'll read you off like who went in front of him. I had the first pick, and I went with Barkley, and then it was Kamara, Elliott, C-Mac, Le'Veon Bell, who I think is overdrafted in the first round, to be quite honest, and I can go into that in a little more detail. Melvin Gordon, who at 6 it's tough for me. Joe Mixon, David Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, James Conner, and then Todd Gurley. Now, following him, we saw Michael Thomas, Dalvin Cook, who I think I'd probably push into the first round over a couple of those guys. Travis Kelce, Odell Beckham, Julio Jones, Leonard Fournette, and then Nick Chubb at 2-7. That's kind of where he's going, but I don't mind Nick Chubb at the end of the first round. Truthfully, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised by the time football season rolls around in best ball drafts or in fantasy drafts if Nick Chubb hasn't elevated it into a top 6 pick. I think that him in that offense and the way that he's going to be used, he's definitely the guy. So at 2-7, I mean, he's a steal. So yeah, I mean, I'm seeing him fall into that area, and I think that's where you're getting the value out of him. If you just want to full fade him right now, then I get it. I just think he does possess. He possesses enough upside that you can take a chance at him there, but it is a risk. So you're going to have to, you're going to have to do the rest of your draft around that. And I think that's why it kind of makes sense to go at the turn there, because you're getting 2 picks. So you could go with something like, I mean, if you were drafting right now, you could draft like a Todd Gurley and a Nick Chubb. And you got 2 running backs, and then you could
that's a nice start. I'm really high on Nick Chubb this year. I think that they finally got some threats solidified on the outside, and Chubb's going to have some running room this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this team, and I felt like when I started drafting this team, it was okay, but it turned into a pretty quick disaster. I had that first pick with Barkley, but I had Breeze and Rivers. I got Barkley, Montgomery from Chicago, Eckler, Deion Lewis, Jamal Williams, Singletary from Buffalo, and C.J. Anderson.
That's ugly, bro.
Wide receivers, I've got Antonio Brown, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Sutton, Gallup, Goodwin from San Francisco, Anunwa, and then tight end.
You are going to die on the Gallup hill, aren't you, my friend?
I got him in the 13th round. It was a decent spot.
The Gallup, Goodwin, Godwin trio just makes me sad all over again from last year. It really does.
You know what? Honestly, Michael Gallup was your Kevin Na of last year without the payoff of actually winning something.
Yeah, but look, here's the thing. There are some people when they watch the games. So like if you listen to Jeff Collins talk, Jeff, he'll tell you that he used to watch a lot of the games. He doesn't do that anymore. He relies on people that are more, talent scout based and just relies on their opinion for those type of things. But for me, I've always done better when, whether it's basketball, football, or baseball, when I actually watch the games. Hockey, not so much. Because I don't even know what's going on half the time in hockey. I don't know the numbers. I don't know the names. I don't know how to pronounce them. So I just look at some really basic metrics, and I go at it that way. But Gallup, not a great player, but man, there was just so many times that if he had a decently accurate quarterback, he would have just taken it to the house, and it started to pay off. And I think it will next year. I think he's going to be a much better target in DFS and a much better target in season-long leagues, and I think you can get him late.
Enough of the Gallup love. I got to cut it off. Enough of the Gallup love. Let's go back to my original question with Todd Gurley. If you're going to take him, do you get back on the handcuff bandwagon with John Kelly? Is John Kelly good enough in your mind? Second year in the system, hopefully not injured. To fill in for Gurley if anything goes wrong. Is John Kelly good enough for that automatic handcuff?
Why not?
Is he the guy that's slated? I don't think he was the guy that people were looking at.
No, that's the guy I'm seeing right now. That's the guy that I'm seeing as the
man, it's going to be Justin Davis.
You think so?
I just went to the Rams official page, and they have him listed as the second guy.
Mm-hmm. So there's the question. Okay, so I'm looking at that, and I see Kelly, but you see Davis. I see Davis behind Malcolm Brown, but I'm not looking at their page. I'm looking at some other group that I read. So there's really no good backup for Todd Gurley. So is that force his value down a little bit more or up a little bit more? What does that mean to you if there's not a really good backup for him?
Look, if they wanted Kelly to be the backup, they wouldn't have signed C.J. Anderson last year. Kelly was available. They just didn't like him that much. He was a preseason, all-team preseason. He was great there, but he just, for whatever reason, got put behind Malcolm Brown. And then
sure.
when Malcolm Brown
I actually loved Malcolm Brown. The guy just couldn't stay healthy.
Neither can you, though. You're sick all the time.
True story. No. That's because my diet consists of 98% alcohol.
That's to keep you healthy, man.
Yeah.
Look, here's what you need to do, and this is what Malcolm Brown needs to do, and he probably has. But like, you go to your doctor. Your doctor's going to give you advice like, "Oh, you shouldn't drink. You shouldn't eat pizza." And it's like, look, this is not your place. You're not my life coach. You're my doctor. These are the choices I make. You need to keep me alive. And so that's your job. This is who I am.
I'm actually looking for a new personal physician right now. I don't care for the guy I've been going to for years now, and I think I'm going to change it up, and I think that's going to be my opening statement. Look, you're not my life coach. You're my doctor. I've made my choices. Now just keep me alive.
I pay you to keep me alive. Exactly. Look them dead in the eye, or her dead in the eye, and just be really serious with that. You just got to set the tone. So they look, you can't let them boss you around. You can't let them, set the tone for the relationship. You have to go in there and you have to tell them the way that it is, and they're going to respect you for that. And
yeah,
they're going to treat
you the right way.
I kind of like that. Like you just go there and go, hey, look, I understand. I appreciate your input. This is the hand you're dealt. These are the cards you're working with. Do what you can to keep me alive, because I'm not changing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, what happened in this Angels game? I suddenly have 12 points out of La Stella and 16 out of Draught.
Aaron Sanchez is not very good, I guess. I don't know. The only thing that I got wind of was that the Freddie Freeman hit a home run, but that's not in that game.
He's the guy I skipped in the lineup of my Braves stack, so that's not great.
La Stella had a double. Right off the bat in the top of the second, and then Mike Trout homered, brought him home.
Very nice. Very nice. Love to hear it. So this is what I want to do, guys. I know Mark's not here, but I'm sure he's down because he's a football guy. I think starting next week that we are going to do a minimum of 30 to 45 minutes of football talk. What do you think? I think it's time to bring football season back.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is we're on too late to talk baseball, and all of us are sucking at our season-long baseball. So I think that we should just move on to something we're more excited about. And starting next week, we'll still talk about baseball. And Chris, I want to pick your brain about the late slate tonight, and we'll still do that. But I think that we'll do a orchestrated topical football starting next week from now on. What do you think?
Sure, we can do that. I'm down.
I love it. Well, I still think that outside of maybe the tour junkies, we're probably the best radio there is for PGA, so we're not going to give that up.
Agreed. Completely agree.
Yeah, I love it. That's our place, Adam. We're gonna get right there. It's gonna be the tour junkies and Draft for Upside. We're gonna hang out together. We're gonna become friends. We're gonna send each other listeners. It's gonna be awesome.
I've had some discourse with DB and Pat over the years, so I could make that happen.
Yeah, I love it. Anyways, so what's else? So anything else on your football mind? I know, Chris, you've been doing these. Have you been doing MFL 10s, or you just been doing drafts? Draft.com.
I just did the one on draft. I did the I don't know how many I have actually done. Let me see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I did a bunch of these back in February and whatnot, and it's just interesting to get on some of the value. I did it before the NFL draft, so there were a bunch of them that didn't include the rookies and whatnot. But the funds are a little tight right now, so I'm not doing a whole lot. Hopefully tomorrow morning I've got a third interview. So I will get a additional real job to supplement my volunteer work I do here at Draft for Upside, along with the budding business that I'm building. I will sponsor the podcast for a fee of $0, but I'd like you to read off the commercials.
You got it. We got you covered, brah. We got you. Until we start getting paid advertisement, then we'll have to reassess that situation.
Well, if we drive any business to me, then we'll pay. Maybe we'll do some video ads too. We'll be like, hey, this is the guys from Draft for Upside, something like that. We'll see.
Well, I know for a fact that Brewery Mark has been building us a new webpage that we are going to go live before the football season gets kicked off. So that's going to be fun and exciting. We're probably going to start doing some short podcasts or short videos. Videos if you prefer. If you don't, I get it. We're all ugly human beings. It's fine. But we're going to start having some more fun content at draftforupside.com. That's for sure.
Well, it's exciting. I'm ready. I'm ready to put my face out there let everybody see, what I get to look at every day in the mirror.
Are you sure about that?
Absolutely.
All right, I dig it. I dig it. So I don't think Mark's going to join us today. So he's got some